Hello everyone, welcome back to Backend Connect the Dots. So in the previous video, I was talking about what is API Manager and Runtime Manager on the MuleSoft, right? How they are used. So in this video, I will show you like a small demo, like in how do we register the application on the API Manager and how do we enable the auto discovery on the on your Anypoint Studio and deploy the application on your runtime and it will be shown in this video. Yeah, once you log into the Anypoint platform, you have once you if you want to register an application on the API manager, this is the first step you have to go to is go to the Anypoint platform and go to the API manager. Uh, in this case, I have create you have to switch the environment, which environment you want to create that application, and I've created the sandbox. I have just only using a trial version of the Anypoint platform. So here is the new if you want to add a new application, here is the place you will be adding a new API and say what is the what do you want to use. You want to use the API Flex Gateway or API Gateway. So for now I'll be using the API Mule Gateway and click on the next, and you can choose that from the exchange. Once you create an application in the design center and publish to the exchange, in the drop down you will be seeing like in a what is the application you want to create, and from the exchange you can directly see it over here. You can click on the next and click on the next, and upstream URL, whatever the URL you have given in the raml, that will be shown up over here, and create and save it. So this is how you can see that API application was created. This is the API ID, instance ID. This is what helps us to configure the API manager with the runtime, because these are application configurations. API manager will be only managing the policies of your application, but the actual deployment of your application will be happening on the runtime. So this is the ID which helps us to tie to the together, saying that whenever you someone calls the application, on the Anypoint Studio, we will be configuring that with the API auto discovery. You have to place that ID over here. Once that ID is someone calls your application, it will be looking for on the looking for this is the unique ID and for the every application. So this is based on this ID, it will come over here and check the policies. Is there any policy added for this application? And it validate it, and it will be giving you the access. So this is a place in the policies you can add. There are different types of policies. You can add like an OAuth authentication. If you have like an access token provider, you can use the OAuth authentication. For now, for this demo purpose, I will be using only the basic authentication. So you can add different kinds of policy, rate limiting, IP whitelisting, and anything you can be adding in this policy section. For now, I'll say like in test username as test, and it's a basic authentication. I'll be giving you for my application test as username and username password as test123, and apply the policy. So now my application is authenticated with an basic authentication. Whoever wants to access my application once I deploy it to the runtime, they have to use this policy. Like, and they have to, while sending the in the postman, they have to use the basic authentication by giving the username and password and sending that. So if you go to the instance in the instance API instance manager, so you can see this the second application was just created now, so it was not registered, unregistered, because if you deploy the application on the runtime and when someone access to it using that, then only this will be coming to the active status. For to avoid the confusion, I will delete the previous application for now. Let me delete this application. So now the application, this is the application we just now created. We have implemented just basic authentication, and for now this is what I'm trying to use it. So once you register the application, as I mentioned, this is the instance ID. It's very important, right? So whenever you want to tie this application, the API manager with the runtime, that ID is very helpful. For now, I don't haven't deployed any application. Once you create your application, and yeah, you have to enable the auto discovery and choose the main flow, and this is the API ID. What you got it from the API manager, you have to add it in the API auto discovery, so that our application will be knowing that this is what it needs to be used. So I'm updating the ID over here. Let me make sure. So so this, let me I'm have, for example, you in your case you have developed up your application in the Anypoint Studio, and you have to go to the global configurations and add the create an API auto discovery. Add the auto discovery and give the API ID what you got it from the API manager, and choose the main flow and click it. Okay, then it will be the API auto discovery will be added to our application. And once you run your application in the studio, there will be a jar will be created on your workspace wherever the application was created. So by using that jar, we will be using in this target folder, you will be create there is an external jar will be generated. This jar helps us to deploy to the cloud app. So let me go to the runtime manager. In the runtime manager, I haven't created any application, right? So I don't see any applications now. So I will create a new application. I will give it as the same as test mule hyphen API, has what I have used in the API manager, the same name I'm trying to give it with to avoid the confusion. For now, I'm using like in a cloud 2.0 with a shared space. If you have like in private cloud, you can use that, or if you have like in hybrid cloud, you can use that, or that you can use that. But for now, I'm using like in shared space, a cloud up 2.0. Here you have to choose the input file, whatever the jar file we created in the once we deployed the application, right? You see that deploy application successful. There will be a jar generated on your folder structure. Basically, it will you can see the same jar, or I don't think you can go to the file explorer from here. System see, this is the place my application is, and this on the target folder you will be seeing this jar. So you have to use that, choose that upload file. Let me copy the path, and this is the jar I'm using. And you can use you can choose whatever the replicas you want to create it on your application for your application. Like in this is an cloud hub was developed on the AWS EC AWS services. So replicas is nothing but if you want to create multiple instance of your application, the replicas you can choose multiple whatever how many replicas you want to create on the cloud on the AWS. If you create one, only one replica of your application is created. If you want multiple replicas to if your application is having like a more traffic coming into your application, then you can make choose of which how many replicas you want to create it. And coming to the replica size is nothing but a vcores. We call in the cloud of 1.1, it's called vcore. It's nothing but the memory size, how much memory you want to allocate to your application. So here is in the 2.0, 0.1 vcore is nothing but 1.2 GB of a memory will be allocated to your application. If there is like a huge amount of data coming in your request, so you are and you can you choose whether your horizontal scaling or vertical scaling of your application over here and deploy the application. This deployment might be taking couple of minutes, so I'll be pausing the video and restarting it. Hey, welcome back. Once the application is deployed on the runtime manager, you can see that it's in the running stage. It will be changing into running state. And couple of things while deploying the application, while you upload the jar, you have to make sure that you add the properties also, like in client ID and the client secret. This anypoint client ID and the client secret, you will be getting it from the APM manager. Vault key is nothing but it helps you to secure the properties. If you want to save some database passwords or anything, you want to encrypt those passwords. That by using the vault key, you will be encrypting the password and saving into that. This will be help application to decrypt also. Once that application was deployed successfully on the API manager, also you can see uh, the status of the application changes to the active. Next, on the runtime, you can see that there is an auto-generated URL for you. By using this URL, you can share with anyone and they can access your API through the Cloud Hub. So we have implemented basic authentication, right? So this is what it's expecting, like in username and password. And you can go to the on website also, any browser, and you can do you'll get the same response on the cloud on the website also, whatever the web browser you want to use it. So this is auto-generated URL for your cloud hub. I hope you got it how to deploy the application and how to register that auto discovery for your application. Thank you. And one thing I would just want to mention it out, like in the you see this where do you get this client ID and the client secret, right? Anypoint platform client ID and the client secret. It will be in your API manager under the environment. So once you click this, you will be seeing that client ID and the client secret. Those needs to be added over here. Anypoint.platform.client ID and as well as the client secret. Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching.